Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying your time at home. So I'm going to give you a quick little introduction to functions for absolute value. You will want to look at your foldable that has the parent functions on it. We never got to absolute value, so if you'll get to the flap that looks like this, which means the function of x equals the absolute value of x. On the inside flap, you're going to want to write the special characteristics for a absolute value function is that it should be V-shaped. So when you graph it, it should look something like this. Now remember, we're going to start with the parent function, which is the most basic one that we can do. Okay? All right, so absolute value functions. What does the parent function look like? So what we're going to do, the parent function, the equation looks like this. Okay, so we're going to make a table, and I've already done this. Remember, we're using the basic ones, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, when we're dealing with functions for right now. Sometimes you'll have to add to that or take away. So when we graph it, we're going to start with -2, -1, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and then 2, 2. If we connect the dots, we should have a absolute value function that is V-shaped. Okay, remember this is the most basic one because it is the parent function. Okay, so let's go and work on some extra ones. Remember, we want to go from the equation to the table to the graph for right now. Eventually, I hope that we can go vice versa and mix between the three. Okay? All right, so this example, our function of x equals the absolute value of x plus 4. So I've started our chart over here with our basic ones. Okay, so if we work it out, we got -2 plus 4, but we want the absolute value of that. So this equals 2, absolute value of 2 equals 2. Okay, if I work through the rest of my things, then you do the same thing with -1. -1 plus 4 is 3, absolute value of that is 3. 0 plus 4, 4, absolute value of that. 1 plus 4 is 5, absolute value of that, and then 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, when I graph that, we're going to go to -2, 2, -1, 3, 0, 4, 1, 5, and then 2, 6. You will notice it is not V-shaped, which means it looks linear at this point, but from this equation we know it can't be linear. So what we want to do, since we're on this side of the equation, we want to find where this side is. So we're going to have to add to our table to get the V. Okay, so if we go down here and do it in that way, you're going to get -3 plus 4 is 1, absolute value of that is 1. -4 plus 4 is 0, absolute value of that is 0. -5 plus 4 is -1, absolute value of that is 1. Notice here we will see that V going on. And -6 plus 4 is -2, and the absolute value of that is 2. So then we can continue our graph here and then here when we plot the points. And notice if I connect the dots, I now have my V shape. Okay, you may want to spread your numbers out to start with, but you don't have to. All right, let's work one more together. Okay, so our equation that is given to us is the absolute value of 3x and then closed absolute value minus 1. Okay, so we're going to go to our table. Let's use our basic ones. Oh, I have too many boxes. All right, so 3 times -2 is -6. Absolute value of that is 6. And then minus 1 is 5. 3 times -1 is -3. Absolute value of that is 3. Minus 1 is 2. 0 times 3 is 0, minus 1 is negative 1. 3 times 1 is 1. 3 times 1 is 3, minus 1 is 2. Notice when it starts going down and then back up, you should have a V going on there. And then 2 times 3 is 6, minus 1 is 5. So, remember, first thing we do is the function. We have the equation. Then we're going to go to the table, and then we're going to graph it. So let's take our function, and graph it. All right, so negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 1, 2, 0, negative 1, 1, 2, 2, 5. Notice now we have our V, so we're good to go because it is absolute value, so it should be V-shaped. Okay, you will notice from the parent function, this one it's much more steep. Okay, now we've talked about why that happens. This 3 will make this more steep. Okay, if it happened to be 1/3, then it would be more wide, looking like this. Okay, all right. So hopefully you have written those 2 examples in your journal, as well as some notes for yourself. Finishing that foldable in that category. I'm going to be attaching some problems for you to try. You can email them to me to check. Feel free to do them by hand, or you can do them on your device electronically. My email address is sammons@jcpsmail.org. That G's bad. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to do square root functions, and then we're going to do those exponential where you have some number to the x power. Then piecewise functions, lots of stuff coming on. So the next slide is your problems, okay? Remember, y and f of x is the same kind of thing going on. I want to see a table, then a graph. Remember, this is how the table should start out. If you do not have a V shape, you're going to have to extend this table in one way or the other, okay? This one is a bonus. Just try it and see what you figure out. Remember, absolute value should come before anything else. So, I hope you enjoy.